Good day and welcome to a Bamba edition of Sport Rap. This is your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraisa, anchoring you through the latest sports news. And now for your latest on the hit list. A team of 5 Namibian archers returned with 4 medals from South Africa National Championship held in Johannesburg. Queen Redich from Swakopmund in the compound women's division improved her previous Namibian record for the 360 round from 296 to 300. She also ranked first after the full 720 ranking round before securing a silver medal in the elimination. Lutz also from Swakopmund beat 9 other archers to win the gold in the Kuf Burbo man division. Janif Mewesen from the Luttrets took the silver medal in the compound men division. Mewesen and Jacqueline Coetzee also competed in the international mixed compound team event against Team USA and Team RSA and brought home the bronze medal. The Namibian Fistball Association has announced its national men's team of 10 players to compete in the World Championship in Mannheim, Germany from 22 to 29 July. The demanding local club Cohen produced 5 of the included players, with 2 more from the Escavier and 3 from clubs in Europe. The team will be accompanied by Andreas Mintz as coach and Christian Knobloch as team manager. The 4-year series of the Cricket Walk League 2 will finally be decided on Thursday when Nepal hosts the United Arab Emirates in the 126th and final match. This result will determine whether Namibia's Eagles will be held to their current 3rd position out of 7 teams, or more likely to be overtaken by an informed Nepal team who are on a fantastic run of 10 wins from their last 11 matches and playing in front of 20,000 home fans. The top 3 teams from the series advanced to the 50 Overs World Cup qualifying tournament to be held in Zimbabwe during June, while the bottom 4 will first need to survive another elimination tournament to be hosted in Windhoek at the end of March. Namibia's sprint queen Christine Bomas-Kemp says they are happy with the progress she has made. Currently, her first official race will be at the Cape Kano Classic event in Nairobi, Kenya, the group said. Boma's races in Kenya are slated for 13 May. This will be followed by races in the Diamond League events with focus on the World Athletics Championship in August. We will now look at our sports stars after the break.
Let's find out why Andalex is SA's #1 brand for sore throat and mouth.
When I have a painful sore throat, I use Andalex Sea Spray. I use it regularly for painful conditions of the mouth and throat caused by viral and bacterial infections.
I use Andalex C antibacterial mouthwash every 2nd day. It protects my mouth against infections caused by viruses and bacteria, as well as gum disease.
For a sore mouth and throat, just Andalex it.
With Namibia's Independence Day looming, Sport Rep chats to one of the country's passionate sport administrator, Dimitri Bitler, who shares his story and his views on Namibian sport for the past 33 years. Here is Dimitri Bitler. Well, many times they don't appreciate the role of people they play in sports, and I think since I started my journalism career, I've seen Dimitri Bitler around, but not many knows his journey, where he started and why he started and all. So Dimi, first of all, welcome to the show. Could you just tell us a brief about your start? I mean, as a career, why you chose to be an administrator? Did you play sports before? And what made you decide even to be part of the sport industry?
Thank you, Jesse, for having me. It's a long journey, comes most of my life. I started sports around the age of 8. I played rugby at the time, Chockers and Otavi, and over the years I've always been into sports. I played soccer, I played rugby, I played volleyball as well, here and there for fun. So I was always a sports person, so I'm always been around the sports scenes. Various regional teams, national teams I've reached. But administratively, I think my wife is to blame or to actually applaud, because she felt I should come in and step in on an administrative level when we started our club, and from there it grew into a regional body, and hopefully in the near future into a national body as well.
Yes, I wanted to know, is it a family thing, or was it just you playing sports at the time?
Well, the beginning it was obviously just me. A lot of my family members don't really play sports, but myself, I was heavily involved in sports till today. And then from there, obviously, my wife came in and it became kind of a family thing. Now the whole family actually does sports. From
Wow.
All the kids in the house actually do sports.
Well, it is inspirational though. School-wise, where did you attend school?
First, primary school, I was at Otavi Primary School, which later changed into Korup Junior Secondary, but I left before then. Then I went to Etosha High School. Etosha High School, I went to UNAM. And then from UNAM, I was at the College of the Arts, and I did some online courses and so on.
All right. Have you ever imagined your life? First of all, when you started, being so much involved, was it a dream that you had, or was it just something that was just happening?
I think I was thrown on in the deep end and I was asked just to swim. I never planned. I actually planned to play social games and stuff myself. Never really thought of being a coach next to the field or actually being an administrator.
Yes. So you had interest in rugby and as well as volleyball here. I think that speaks volume of the AfroCat Alliance. The fact that they are now having a volleyball team, they have a netball team, a football team. Was there any soccer from your side back then?
Yes, I still play soccer. I'm not bad on the ball, I must say. Okay, it's age is catching up, but yeah, soccer is one of the games. In the black community, as a black kid, you had to play soccer to fit in. So soccer definitely. Tennis also, which we also introduced to AfroCat recently. So tennis was also something I started briefly. It wasn't my sport, so I didn't end up anyway pursuing it much.
Yes, you went on, founded the AfroCat. Was it an easy step to take, especially in terms of that we know that sport in this country is underfunded and all?
Well, it's a massive commitment from us, a very massive commitment to be able to take that step. The fortunate part was that AfroCat existed prior to the sports. It had modeling and stuff that was before that. So it made it easier to transition the organization and add sports into the organization. But the commitment is really, it's taking a lot, and it's a massive commitment from us.
Yes.
Financially, emotionally, and physically as well.
Yes, AfroCat itself, taking a lot of young people from the streets, I think that we have witnessed. Was that one of your dreams?
Well, our dream was always to give back to the community. We've always been youth-driven. So our dream has been what we're doing now, taking the kids off the streets, giving them opportunities to take part in sports or any other activities that we can actually provide for them.
Okay. Well, it has been years AfroCat has developed, and I'm sure you all have played a part in it. Any people that you would probably say that were at the helm and were really helping you with this program?
Well, my wife definitely, she's been part of the journey, and she has helped immensely. There are also people like Elosius, who has pushed the volleyball to where it is right now. We have our coaches, staff, even the founding players, the founding models that started the organization, the founding members, all of them actually, everybody contributed in some way or form It's really difficult to mention everybody now.
Yes,
I'll take an
definitely.
hour of your time. So
Yes.
definitely, I really want to show my appreciation to everybody that has been part of the journey.
Okay. Do you feel that you guys have literally achieved your goals, or you are probably halfway in them?
Well, I think we are not even halfway into our goals. We want to be fully fledged, so there are a lot of things that we still want to put in place. So a lot of achievements still we need to acquire, and our national representation, meaning regionally, also we want to improve it. So there's still a lot of work to do, but so far so good. We're on track. A little bit behind in aspect to what we expected, but I think we're doing okay. I think the economy is also, taking it.
It's all,
its
yes,
toll
on everybody, yes. Well, Dimitri, personally, you know that someone sees Dimitri, a man that is very hardcore there, went next to the field, training the guys and all that. What is the soft side of Mr. Bitler?
Yes, I'm saying I'm a gentle giant. We're serious on the field, but off the field we family, we friends, we cool under circumstances. But at the end of the day, it's not really that we are harsh. We're just a bit strict, and I think with the youth that is required. So the strictness always gives off that serious persona.
And in terms of your coaching styles and stuff like that, is there anyone that you literally admired in the games that you have coached that has driven you in terms of who you want to be personally?
Yes, there is. There's obviously a few coaches from the different sport codes that we've learned a few tricks from. So there are a number of them. I think the Arsenal coach Arteta is one of them. Development-wise, growing into the team that Arsenal is. So that is basically one of the coaches that I admire quite a lot. And I think the South African rugby coaches have been doing quite well with the resources and manpower that they have. I think the South African rugby coaches really also bring out quite the depth. So it's a mixture of coaches. When it's netball, obviously the Australian coaches for me have been bringing it to the table. I think a few African coaches as well, also not doing bad as well.
Well, Dimi, you just declared that you're probably an Arsenal fan, right?
Yes, I've been an Arsenal fan, but I actually liked Arteta already from Manchester City. I've seen him grow as well as Jurgen Klopp. So these are some of the guys really, I like their style, that they are not eager to succeed, but they systematically build into something much bigger.
Most definitely. And what do you think of Arsenal's run right now?
Well, it's a fairy tale run. No one expected it, and right now we just need to ride the cloud as the fans. But to be honest, it's above expectation. It's not what we really thought the team could do.
Could end in tears as well because the season.
I don't think it will be tears. The fact that you didn't expect it. If you expected it, then it will end in tears. So top 3 finish for me, I think, is well deserved.
Okay. Back to the social life. Any places you like to hang, eat out, and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, I'm half, I'm half Katutura, half town boy. So Katutura for me is still home, our Kapana, and you won't believe Shanje, the Borovos there, Shanje. So we hang out everywhere, but definitely Groove Mall for me, quite relaxed environment for me, and all the shops are there and so on. So the mall definitely, and mostly the sports grounds.
Okay. We're approaching the 21st of March, which is the independence of this country. I'll just put you on the spot there. What is your perspective of the last 33 years in terms of sports? Do you think that we have made strides as a country or we have gone down?
I think if we go back 30 years, the sphere of sports have changed. I think a little bit of growth in certain sport codes and then a decline in other sport codes. But I think the biggest challenge is administratively we've become very, very weak. It is not much about the passion like it used to be. But 33 years ago, we had very strong teams, national teams, and so on. And the fluctuation is of concern because we have better funding, we have better training, better resources, but yet we're not doing well, meaning somewhere we're not doing right. But it's 33 years of independence, but I still feel that there's much more we can do as a country for sports and the athletes.
For sports and the athletes. In terms of, I know maybe our systems of legends, the golden oldies, the guys that have done great in the sport, do you think as a country we are actually giving enough attention to them, or they just end up like any other person on the street?
I think the challenge is that after sports, life after sports is not planned for, and it is a challenge to see a lot of these guys on the streets, not doing much, not working, doing simple coaching jobs and things like that, because I think we have not well trained them how to exit the life of sports and exit another chapter into their lives, and they end up actually not surviving that well after the glamour, and it's quite sad to see it. But I think that is one aspect that we really need to bring into the clubs, and to see how can the clubs assist these players after they retire, and probably injuries and so on.
Injuries and so on. Yes. Lastly, before we conclude, back to AfroCAD again. What is the plan this year? What do you guys want to achieve?
Well, we have a number of plans. If I start with the tennis, that is new. We basically want to grow it into a small pool of players and start seeing by next year these kids participating in the league. As for the soccer, we have a big challenge getting into the MFA leagues. Still a very big thorn that we're facing. We're struggling to get a spot in the NFA leagues. So that is one we're trying to get the soccer to. But they're definitely playing the bush leagues. This year they have 2 bush leagues that they're playing. But then we also have our volleyball, which recently started a week ago. Doing quite well. I think the ladies team is the team to watch out for AfroCAD volleyball. The guys team also, a lot of depth came through the academy, although we lost a few players to the forces, but I think we still have quite a very, very strong team that can win the league this year. And coming to netball, we are still in the Premier League. We survived relegation last year. So this year is to see if we can finish mid-table, maybe a little bit higher, and see if we can survive and still build a team. So it's about a 3-year program for the Premier League. Hopefully we can remain there for the next 3 years to actually create a team that can win the league eventually. We still have in Commerce a few teams. In Oshana we have a team, Rundu we have a team, and Maheke we have a team that is also netball. But for them, we also see how can we push them to go to the Premier League in the next year or 2 or 3. So it's a whole development program for the netball. But we're also introducing social netball. So we're also inviting the retired players and companies and so on to join. Hopefully you guys will enter a team.
All right. Well, Dimitri, it has been a privilege having you here, and I'm sure in advance, happy Independence Day as well.
Yeah, happy 33rd Independence to everyone out there.
Thank you so much.
Muscle and joint pain should not be the reason you can't perform at your best.
Norflex Gel.
It also shouldn't be the reason you miss that important deadline.
Norflex Gel.
Or miss those precious moments that matter the most.
Norflex Gel.
Norflex Gel penetrates through the skin, numbing the area and relieving pain and inflammation. Norflex Gel is now available in the pharmacy aisle and in supermarkets. New Norflex Gel Fort is available for stronger anti-inflammatory action.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news. It is the BNP Paribas Open that continues in Indian Wells in California, and it is the world's best players in action there, almost like a major tennis tournament. On the women's side of the draw, it is Iga Swiatek, the number 1 seed. She safely through. She beat Emma Raducanu of Great Britain. Raducanu played in the US Open final 2 years ago, or won it actually 2 years ago, and Swiatek won 6-3, 6-1, and she's through to the quarterfinals. Also second seed, Aryna Sabalenka, she beat Barbara Krejcikova in 3 sets, also through to the next round. And then Maria Sakkari, she's number 6 seed. She beat Karolina Pliskova, always a tough opponent, Pliskova, and it's Sakkari that won 6-4, 5-7, and 6-3. On the men's side of the draw, number 4 seed, he's the defending champion, that is Taylor Fritz. He's safely through to the quarterfinals. He beat Martin Fucsovics, and the score there was 6-4 and 6-3. Also number 1 seed, Carlos Alcaraz, he's through to the quarterfinals. He won the first set against Jack Draper. Then Jack Draper of Great Britain had to withdraw because of an abdominal muscle injury, and he's out of the tournament. So it is number 1 seed, Carlos Alcaraz, through to the quarterfinals. Very exciting game. Daniel Medvedev, number 5 seed. He came up against Alexander Zverev, the number 12 seed, and a tight game, 3 sets. It was in the end Daniel Medvedev, the number 5 seed, going through 7-6, 6-7, and 7-5 in the 3rd set. On to soccer news. UEFA Champions League that continued a very dominant performance by Manchester City, and it was especially Erling Haaland, their striker, that scored 5 goals. That was in the round of 16 second leg game against Leipzig, and it was a total domination. Manchester City winning 7-0, and the aggregate there was 8-1. They through to the quarter-finals. Erling Haaland, 5 goals in the game, and he's the fastest player ever to reach 30 goals in the UEFA Champions League. It only took him 25 games. Also through is Inter Milan. They beat Porto 1-0. That is on aggregate. Their game ended 0-all in a draw, but it was enough for Inter Milan to go through to the last 8 for the first time since 2011. Continuing international sports news with the motor racing news, Formula 1 racing, the second race of the season about to happen. It's this coming Sunday, the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix in Jeddah. And the news from the Aston Martin team is that Fernando Alonso said that his team, his vehicle, his racing car can still get even better. He had a very good 3rd position in Bahrain in the first Grand Prix. A bit of a surprise, and it was just the 2 Red Bull Hondas that beat him. He beat the Mercedes and the Ferrari drivers. That is the experienced Fernando Alonso. The design of the Aston Martin is based on the Red Bull, so they do have lots of success early in 2023 season. Red Bull owner or principal is Christian Horner. He said he's confident that the Red Bull can continue their winning streak. They're confident that they can win on all tracks. He said that every track is different, but he feels comfortable that the Red Bull Honda vehicle or the race car for 2023 can adapt to all racing tracks and all conditions. Closing off today's international sports news with rugby news, it is the Six Nations that come to a conclusion this coming weekend. All to play for Ireland. Ireland, they're going to host England in a very important game. If they win the game, they win the Six Nations for 2023. Injuries in the camp of Ireland, but there's also an injury in the England camp now. It is the forward Ollie Chesham. He's got an ankle injury and he cannot play this coming Saturday against Ireland. Also Wales that will play against France, a tough game for Wales because France dominated their game against England, winning 53 points to 10. And the 2 injuries in the Welsh team, a very experienced backline player, that is Liam Williams. He normally plays fullback and wing, and he's out with a shoulder injury. He's also a British and Irish Lions player, so a big loss for Wales. And also Scott Baldwin, he's out with a pectoral muscle injury. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
That was our international correspondent, Ario Hart. That brings us to the end of today's show. Catch us again tomorrow at the same time, same place. Goodbye.